So I want to do a follow-up to the last speakdom that I did on this channel, which was about, content creators and people online. And I'm talking about, when I say content, I'm talking about YouTubers, Twitch streamers, bloggers, social media people, Instagram photographers, whatever you do online that you want to attain some kind of success in, you know, and when you attain success, most of the time you attain attention. So they go hand in hand. And I did the video talking about, how to deal with people attacking you and sort of like, understanding that just because somebody says something about you does not make it true. I want to do a follow up and talk about another issue I've seen with a few of my friends who I'm not going to name that is prevalent. And it's something that I think we all deal with, but I want to kind of give y'all like a perspective, a different kind of look on it. So the thing I want to talk about is competition as well as growing as a content creator. And one of the big hiccups that a lot of us make is when we let other people's success bring us down or comparing ourselves to other people. And it's a weird topic because in some ways competitiveness is a great motivating factor. And I've had other YouTubers, like for example Quaman, straight up tell me that he thinks that I'm the most competitive person he's ever met. And I don't see myself as that. I see myself as more just maybe driven is the word he's using. Competition can be a good thing, okay? Because it can drive you. What you got to be careful with, though, is letting somebody else's breaks and someone else's success hinder your growth as a creator. I think a lot of times, a lot of us, especially the people who I'm talking to with this video, spend way too much time wondering why that person grew so fast, why that person has so many Twitch subscribers, why that person has so much money, and why I am not in their shoes. First of all, that's slightly egotistical to think. Now, granted, you should have confidence in your content, and if you think that you should be in their spot, that's an admirable trait, but you also can't look at it from the perspective of, oh, life is unfair to him and unfair to me, because I think what ends up happening with a lot of people is they compare themselves to others way too much, and as a result of that, rather than do something about it, all they do is complain. And it becomes really to the point where it becomes whiny. First thing you have to understand, okay, is that everybody in life has their own path. I want you to really sit on this for a minute, okay, and think about this. Everybody in life has their own path. I am in my early 30s. I have friends of mine who are YouTubers who are in their early 20s who are making a really good living doing this. So from one perspective, you would think that somebody like me would say, damn, I wish I had that kind of money when I was in my 20s. And I didn't, right? I was broke a lot of my early 20s. It wasn't until I was 22 that I got 23 till I got a good job, like a really good job, right when I graduated. Before that, I didn't really have like good jobs. I had okay jobs. 23 is when I really got a good job. Well, it was 22, but 23 is when I got good. Okay, anyways, early 20s. But I didn't really love my job like I do now. It took a decade for me to find something that I love to do. And it's the same with a lot of people, is that you don't know what life's journey is going to bring you in. When you're 18 years old, you might want to be a clarinet player. You might be so focused on playing the clarinet. And then by the time that you're 28, you might not even care about the clarinet. You might play it for fun, and you really like becoming an artist, like a painter. You don't know what's going to stumble in your life to give you that big break or to shift the course of your life. You don't know. None of us can predict the future. I want y'all to really think about this, okay? I want y'all to really think about it. If you're out there and you're kind of struggling, you're like, man, why am I not getting a break? One thing I will tell you is that regardless of whether or not you are religious or you're an atheist or if you believe in karma or not, usually in life, if you put out positive energy and if you put out good, solid content, at some point your break will come, especially when it comes to YouTube and Twitch being essentially the newest form of capitalism. We can all make money on this thing. That's why it really always has made me confused as to why so many people criticize YouTubers when they can become YouTubers themselves and do a better job. Like if you hate a YouTuber who covers Star Wars, you have the ability right now to start a channel and do it like better than them, you know? And I'll be honest with you, I'm not even gonna lie. That's how it was for me with Geekdom 101. Dragon Ball content on YouTube, with the exception of a handful of guys, and most of them have actually become my friends now. You know, a lot of the content on YouTube was just not very good for the stuff that I like to talk about, like Dragon Ball lore, history, that kind of stuff, you know, the intricacies of the series. There wasn't really that many people on here, and the ones that were on here, their approach may not have been the one that I would have gone with, or maybe they just weren't consistent with their uploading. And in some cases, some of them just moved on to do other things in life. That's how it is. Sometimes you are a fan of something and you just move on from it and come back to it later if you want. That's just how it is in life. You have to understand that life is very unpredictable, and you never know what twists and turns are going to come to you, right? That being said, if you really want to achieve something, you have to have the mentality of, someday I'll do it. It might not be tomorrow, it might not be next week, but my goals, whatever they may be, whether it be a subscriber count, whether it be, you know, some kind of connection you want to make, you have to have that mentality, because most of the time, if you are upfront and honest, and if you have patience and hard work, and if you're a good marketer, at some point you'll probably get noticed. The important thing is you have to make sure that when you do get noticed, that you take advantage of the situation, and that you do it with honesty, and that you do it with a good heart, and that you don't try to snake whoever it is that gives you that opportunity, whether it be a collaboration, whether it be somebody in the business that you happen to be in, whatever. You have to make sure you approach it with good, honest values, because if you don't, and that person is not a snake like you, they're going to eventually realize you're trying to use them, and that'll be the end of it, okay? I'm telling you, because it's happened so many times. I've been on that side I don't know how many times. And the important thing is, whatever it is you want to do, whether it be streaming, YouTubing, blogging, anything, you got to have a passion for it. It has to be something that you're passionate about. If you're going to be covering something like Star Trek or like Marvel, let's say, right, and you really aren't a fan of Marvel or not a fan of that product, it's just going to come off obvious the more that you do it. And more importantly, it's going to come off obvious to your peers. There are certain instincts that people who are passionate about something have that others who are not passionate about it don't have. I can tell within the first 5, maybe 10 minutes of having a conversation with somebody what kind of Dragon Ball fan they are, or what kind of Star Wars fan they are, because this has been so deeply rooted in my life that I have a sixth sense for it. There's friends of mine who are gamers who can tell, like, immediately, like, your experience level, and not, you know, all kinds of different games. Like, you know, if you're in there and you're just an amateur casual who plays Call of Duty and you talk to a pro, he's going to have, like, a different kind of verbiage than you do, a different kind of language, and it's going to be prevalent in that community. So you have to make sure that whatever you love, whatever you're passionate about, has to be genuine passion. And I'm not saying you have to be an expert, but you have to have passion for it. But the important thing that I'm trying to get, the important message I'm trying to convey with this video is, y'all got to stop comparing yourself to others. So what if this dude has more subscribers than you? So what if that person grew faster than you? So what? Like, what are you going to do? Sit around and complain about it all day? And granted, a lot of us have suffered through this. I've even a couple times gone down this road. It happens. When I was first starting out, I had friends of mine who, again, I'm not going to name, who complained a lot about them feeling like they were, like it was unfair that the YouTube algorithm pushed other videos ahead of theirs. And even to this day, you know, there are still moments when you wonder what the hell happened here. Why is that video blowing up and not mine? It's just kind of how we think as competitive content creators. But you can't just sit there and whine and bitch and moan, because then it stops being about competition and it becomes jealousy. And nobody likes a jealous person. And what's worse is if you complain to your friends over and over and over again about person number B or person number C who's better than you, and your friends keep giving you the same damn pep talk, like, dude, just keep working, because your path is not the same as theirs. For all we know, they might fizzle out in a year. They might have a successful channel, and in 1 year's time, it's dead. Or maybe they will move on to something else. Maybe they'll get tired of what they're doing. Maybe they'll get married. Maybe they'll have children. Then their children becomes their main priority. They don't care about their channel anymore, or their Twitch, you know, whatever. See what I'm saying? Like, you just don't know, and you should not ever want to wish negative feelings on somebody, especially someone who you don't know, because you really don't know them and you don't know what their angle is. I know, granted, there's a lot of douches on YouTube who do stuff like clickbait and misinform, and they should be taken a task for it, but at the same time, you really don't know the person, because for all we know, sometimes just talking to them might get them to change. Other times, you talk to them 100 times, and they still don't fucking change, and they still snake you, and they still act the same way because they are incapable of being good people. And I've run into those as well. But most people, I think, are good people. I like to think that. I know it seems foolish. I do think that most human beings are good people. I believe in the Abraham Maslow hierarchy of needs theory. It's just that you as a person, we all go through pain, and pain kind of shapes who we are. So you as a person, you just don't waste time wondering why this guy, that guy, is doing better than you, and complaining. And then what happens is you get wrapped up in these stupid conspiracy theories about how, oh my God, YouTube has it out for me. Do you really logically believe that some dude in California working at Google has a fucking vendetta against you? He doesn't even know who you are. He doesn't even, you think he's actually there like, oh, you know what, this guy doesn't like Last Jedi, I'm going to turn off his algorithm. That's not how it works, dude. It's just that sometimes there's anomalies that happen in the system, and it changes all the time anyways. Like, you got to stop thinking that, and if there is someone who has a vendetta against you, surpass that vendetta. Beat him. You can do it. I don't want this to come off like a pep talk, but this video has to be made because I think sometimes we compare ourselves too much, and you know what? Everybody has their own path. Maybe you'll never have as many subscribers as this guy or as much attention as that guy, but maybe you'll find happiness elsewhere. And if you find happiness, who the hell cares what happened to that guy? That dude might be happy. He might not be happy. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It's none of your business. And at the end of the day, you should just, not ever, but don't try to compare yourself to others. If you're going to do it from a competitive version. If you're going to study them, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're going to just mope around all day and whine about why you're not getting your break, you're never going to get your break, bro. Actions. And if you don't get your break right away, you got two choices, brother. Shit or get off the pot. Shit or get off the pot. What I mean by that is, if you're not accomplishing your goals, you have two choices. You either keep going or you change your goal. That's it. There's no other in between there. You keep trying or you find another goal that you want to achieve. You do something else. That's as simple as that. Because there's no in between. You can't just say, well, I'll try less. You try less, you're not going to make it. Oh, I'll try more. Then maybe you will make it. See what I'm saying? So that's what I have for you today. Stop comparing yourself to others. And always remember that, I think a lot of us as human beings, we're ego-driven and we're condescending. We'll look at a news report and we'll say, oh, that guy, he killed 10 people. What a horrible person. I'm glad I'm not like that. Yeah, but you've also stolen and lied in your life too. See, nobody's perfect. We're all sinners. Whether or not you believe in the religious version of that or not, we're all sinners. We're all guilty of something, right? So there's no sense in trying to sit on a soapbox and claim that you're better than someone else when in reality, when you peel away the layers, you're probably not. And maybe you are, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, especially when it comes to being successful and being happy. That's what I have for you. Talk to you soon.